Hello everybody, and welcome once again to my channel. My name is Jack. The name of my band is Mera, and this is Alternative Vibration. You know, human beings experience spirituality in many different ways, but in my opinion, the most powerful way that we experience spirituality is through music. You know, music bypasses all the intellectual, logical thinking parts of our brain, and it goes straight to our emotions. That's why when you hear a song, you can instantly cry. In my opinion, the 90s was one of the greatest eras for music ever. We had so many bands. They were coming out with so many different creative ways of making music, what we called alternative rock. Kurt Cobain, as a songwriter, was dealing with many different things that gave him a very unique outlook on life. And of course, addiction was certainly a part of that. And fear was also a part of that. You know, my yoga teacher said something pretty profound. She said that addiction is the constant pursuit of pleasure, and fear is the constant avoidance of pain. And what exactly does that mean? What does that have to do with music? Well, I feel like as artists, we're always doing one of those two things. We're always either pursuing that pleasure, pursuing that high of a performance, or writing a great song, or just making a killer record, getting a big following, right? We crave that. And we also want to avoid the things that are going to cause us pain. And we always, in the back of our mind, we're worried, was that good? Am I good enough? Is this song good enough? Is it even worth playing? Is it even worth writing? Sometimes you don't even want to, when you wake up in the morning, you don't even want to pick up your guitar. You don't even want to sit down at the piano. And all of this is because we are afraid of what the result is going to be rather than afraid of what the result isn't going to be. In other words, we're not happy with where we are right now. And being happy with who you are as a person takes compassion. It takes a level of understanding who you are as an artist. And knowing that you're exactly where, when you talk about spirituality, a big part of that is believing that in this universe, somewhere in this universe, there is a plan, a divine plan of goodness for you and what you want to do. So part of that is believing, understanding, and knowing that you're exactly where you are supposed to be. Not only that, but everything that happened to you up until this point was supposed to happen. A lot of artists, myself included, tend to think about what should have happened by now. It should have happened by now. Why didn't it happen a long time ago? Why is it taking so long? Will it ever happen? Am I too old for it to happen? Right? That's a creative block. One of the most common creative blocks is age. The two most common blocks for artists are age and money. I don't have enough money to be an artist, and I'm too old to be an artist, or I'm too young to be an artist. Neither of these are real. You're avoiding what you think is going to happen to you when you don't know what's going to happen. All you know is that if you don't do it, nothing's going to happen. Now let's go to addiction. Something that was a big problem in the 90s. How many of our favorite artists from the 90s fell victim to their addictions? That pursuit of pleasure, that pursuit of constant pleasure. That was from not being comfortable with who they were in the present moment. Pain is here for a reason. And being able to sit with that pain and experience it completely is part of being an artist. I'm not saying that we shouldn't want pleasure. I'm not saying that we shouldn't want to feel happy. I'm not saying that we shouldn't want to celebrate. But it's that constant pursuit, the feeling that we always need to be there. That's not the case. I don't care who your favorite musician is on this earth. They do not experience pleasure 24 hours a day. And if they do, and they're getting it through an addiction, it's not going to last very long. It's going to be a problem. It was definitely a problem for Kurt Cobain, who unfortunately couldn't find peace in where he was in the present moment. I'm not here to get into why that was, but I am here to tell you about your pain and where it's going to lead you, your addiction and where that's going to lead you. The only way to get through that addiction, that constant craving of pleasure, the only way to get through that constant fear of pain is to understand that you are a human being and you need to be compassionate with who you are, and you need to love the artist inside of you that is trying all the time. The artist inside of you is doing the best they can to help you create what you want to create. Listen to that. Write it down. Get a piece of paper. Write down what you're angry about. Write down what it is that was unfair, that was unjust. Listen to yourself. Listen. Don't ridicule yourself or beat yourself up overthinking that and saying, I shouldn't be thinking these things. You need to be compassionate and understand that these are valid thoughts. These are valid feelings. You have a reason to feel that way. And when you give yourself the dignity of feeling that emotion and understanding that there's a reason for it, sometimes that's enough to bust right through that block. When you're a blocked artist and you're not writing or you're not creating because you just can't bring yourself to do it, you'll beat yourself up over it and you'll say, I'm lazy, right? I'm a lazy artist. You're not lazy. You're blocked. Call things by the right name. Because blocked artists can become unblocked. In fact, there are tools to unblock your artist. Take yourself out on what's called an artist date. I know that sounds kind of silly, but I read this book. It's called The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. And in this book, she has a lot of tools for unblocking. One of them is called the artist date. What that involves is you going out and taking yourself on a date that you really want to go on. Now, this is by yourself. You can't take anybody else on this date. It's really important because you're going to realize, oh, I don't want to do this by myself. I want to take a friend. No, you do this on your own because you are taking this time to show your artist how much you care for your well-being. Maybe it's a movie that you want to see. Maybe it's a museum exhibit. Maybe it's just taking a walk in nature. Maybe it's going out and buying something like a book that you've been meaning to get. Or maybe it's just going to a store and browsing. Maybe it's going to like a really expensive store and looking at stuff you can't afford. Whatever it is, it's important to allow yourself to do that and take that time to nourish that part of you that wants to experience things. You're filling the well inside of you that you're going to draw from to make the music you want to make. You have to have something there. When the well is empty, the bucket's going to be empty. I recently took myself on an artist date. I went and saw a movie. The movie is called The movie is called The Colors Within. And it's a Japanese anime, and it's really cool. It's about these two girls who are in high school. They go to a Catholic school, and the one girl sees emotions as colors, It's pretty interesting, actually. And the other girl is really into music and wants to write music. And they both have all these fears inside of them. The girl who is the musician is really afraid of what her parents are going to say if she tells them that she wants to be a musician. The other girl who sees colors, she's afraid that if she tells people what she wants to do, that the nuns at the school are going to be mad at her for wanting to do it. But in the end, they find out that no one's mad at them. In the end, they I don't want to spoil I don't want to spoil the movie for you. But in the end, they realize that everybody's proud of them. They see that they did all this work and the music they made was really beautiful. And their fears weren't real. They were just inside their head. They were afraid of the pain that they were going to cause other people. And it wasn't real. Because sometimes sitting down and doing the work, writing the song, picking up your guitar, sitting down at the piano, getting out your pen and paper and writing down lyrics, sometimes just the act of doing that is easier than not doing it. Because when you don't do it, that's when you start to build up all this resentment inside, and that's when you start craving the drug, whatever that drug is. Write about that fear, write about that addiction, write about that person you can't stop singing about. That's what music is for. That's why Kurt's music was so revolutionary, why it was so universal, because the pain in his heart came through in his music, and it connected with everybody. Everybody. In fact, the world was ready for Kurt Cobain, but Kurt wasn't quite ready for Kurt Cobain. He wasn't ready for the reception that he got. The world was ready. I want you to know this. The world is ready for what you have to say. You need to be ready for what you have to say. Your pain, your heartache, because there's somebody out there that is also feeling that, and they want to know that you're feeling it as well. That's the connection that music makes, and that's why it's such a big part of my life. I hope you're out there doing the work. I hope this helps, and if you are interested in hearing my music, which, by the way, heals me, that's what heals me. Writing songs and making music. You can check it out right here on this channel. My band's called Mera, and all my music is on Spotify. It's right here on YouTube, and you can check it out. And go ahead and let me know what you think. Let me know what you're doing. Let me know what your favorite bands are. Were you a big fan of the 90s? Were you into Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Dinosaur Jr.? Let me know in the comments. And hey, I just want you to go out there, and I want you to go forward in grace and gratitude so you can show the world your greatness, okay? Because I know you're great.